I hate mites so much. I hate mites so much because oftentimes they go undetected until I will pick up a bird and then all of a sudden they're crawling on my arms and it's just the grossest feeling. Well, there are many different types of mites. For the purpose of this video, we're going to talk about northern fowl mites, red mites, and tropical fowl mites because I think that those are the most common. And then I'm going to reserve scaly leg mites for a separate video because there are some different treatments for scaly leg mites than there are for these other types of mites. Similarly to lice, as we have discussed, mites are usually more common in the hot summer months. They live on the exterior body of the birds. They are ectoparasites and are closely related to spiders and ticks. Super gross. They are incredibly prevalent in backyard flocks and in wild birds, and typically they're spread via wild birds. Their life cycle is fairly short, only a couple weeks. The northern and tropical fowl mites live their entire life cycle on our birds, whereas red mites tend to hide in the nooks and crannies of our coops and then come out and suck the blood from our birds overnight. And so some of the symptoms may be things like pale combs, anemia, weight loss, drop in egg production, hesitancy when going into nesting boxes, dirty vent feathers. Sometimes it just looks like a bunch of dirt there until you get closer and you realize that there are mites everywhere. You may also notice decreased egg production as the birds become more vitamin deficient or just genuinely really uncomfortable. The best time to inspect for mites is going to be at night while the chickens are roosting. Go out there, grab a chicken with a flashlight, and you're going to want to check around the vent, under wings, around the necks, and along the roosting post for red mites because it's typically at night that you'll see them crawling around the roosts, up the corners of your coop, and around the legs of your chickens. Mites can be really nasty to treat for, and I'm not sure if that's because the mites are becoming resistant to certain products or because they're good at hiding around the coop and reinfestation happens quickly. In any case, multiple treatments may be necessary to deal with a nasty mite infestation. If you notice that one chicken is dealing with mites, it's a good idea to treat the whole flock, clean coops, burn bedding, treat crevices and corners of the coop as well. There are many products on the market marketed to treat mites. However, my personal go-to is ivermectin Poron for cattle. Now, this is an off-label use of ivermectin, so use at your own risk, but it's genuinely accepted that a few drops per bird of ivermectin will treat for mites. I like to use 2 to 9 drops per bird depending on the size, and I like to drop on the back of the neck, under the wings, and around the vent. An egg withdrawal period for ivermectin seems to be about 14 days, and retreatment is going to be necessary after 10 days because ivermectin only treats live parasites. It will not treat any eggs that were laid. So we treat again in 10 days to make sure that we can get any eggs that have hatched in the meantime. And then because mites are such nasty little creatures, I would advise continuing to check every 10 days for more live bugs just in case anything got mixed and treatment is necessary. The coops need to be cleaned and they could be treated with an Elector PSP mixture. They could be treated with a permethrin mixture. They could be treated with a poultry dust. Personally, at this point, I don't even believe you can prevent mites. I believe that you can put things in place to help your chickens manage mites. Things like good quality dust baths with natural soil in them. Maybe even wood ash is really great in dust baths, providing them with access to sunlight, clean water, a good quality feed so that they are strong and well equipped to help manage these problems on their own. However, I really believe that it's just important to know what to look for when it comes to mites and how to treat should they cross our or when they cross our paths.